all right. As my friend Carnivore Soldier likes to say, we are live 7 o'clock on a Tuesday. This is John, Carnivore Backwoods. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Looks like we actually got 3 people to start off in here, Kipp. So got Carnivore Kipp here with me tonight. We were sitting here having a conversation before, and we're going to continue on having a conversation now. Kipp, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you chatting with me tonight. I hate that we had to reschedule it the other day. My daughter, she had issues going on, and she's been sick. She started her first week in daycare, and so with daycare starting and everything, she just picked up some type of bug from one of the other kids, and then my wife got a little bit sick too. Thankfully, I hadn't got sick, but it's just been a wild few days. But I appreciate you rescheduling, and I'm glad to talk with you tonight.
Kipp, I'm a father too. I've raised 5. Get the camera here. 5 kids. I have the last one at home. She's going to be 8. Yeah, she's going to be 18 this March, and all the rest of them are out of the house. So I've been there. I've dealt with the kids. I've dealt with the sick kids. I've dealt with the kids that go to school and come home and give you something to be sick about. So, we all got to deal with the things, but I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
They're pouring in. Your fan club showing up. We got 19 in here so far.
They all probably want to know about that video today. After I posted that video today, I started thinking, oh boy, we got our live tonight, and somebody might say something.
Yeah, well, we all struggle. We've all been there. It's like I was saying, before we started the live, it's not what knocked you down, it's what got you back up that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not the first time that I've been knocked down, and it won't be the last time that I get knocked down, but I'm going to get back up. I actually filmed that video today on my lunch break while I was being a dodo and eating McDonald's. And but I know that tomorrow's a new day. I can't change what happened then, but I'll get back up again just like I have in the past.
And that's, this isn't the format I had for tonight, but that's okay. We're going to talk about this since we're live, and that's the subject at hand. I've gone off, and ate some things off menu. I don't have major sugar cravings, so that's never really my issue. But I do like that. I was telling you, I got a customer that I delivered a couple pizzas to today. For one of my customers I sell stuff to, and I was appreciating them, so I brought him a couple pizzas, and I had to drive down the road for 10 minutes with those pizzas, cooking over there in the seat next to me, whiffing out that sausage and cheese and pepperoni smell, and then it stuck in the vehicle for an hour after I delivered them, and the whole entire time my mouth's just watering, going, man, you really should have ate some of that pizza. But I was able to resist, but there was a time that I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, and you have to try to remember that stuff, because there's been times that, like, for example, with me, like going to Mexican restaurants, a lot of my family, they love to go to, because I live in a small town, there's like Mexican restaurants and there's not much else. There's a couple. Yeah. So my family, they love to go to the Mexican restaurant, but then I get to watch them eat chips and dip and the rice with cheese on it and all that other stuff. And, there's times where I've went and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would really love to have that. But I try to make a mental note of it, because if I'm not careful, the next time I'm there, I might not be as strong and I might just cave into it. So, and I'm not no professional, because look at me, I caved today, but but I'm trying to learn to put
that's
that
called experience, sir. That's called experience. That makes you an expert at it. You're an expert at the carnivore diet. You've done well at it. You've had your fails. You know what your fails were. You identify it and you fix it from there. One of the things that's happened to me recently is I normally eat OMAD 1 meal a day, and I started, working a new position at work where I'm out on the road and I'm driving around going to all my customers, which is, I used to be inside the building all day, so I didn't have these temptations. Well, I started grabbing me some burger patties from Wendy's or McDonald's. And what I discovered is that now became a habit. And suddenly every time I see a McDonald's or a Wendy's, I'm like, I could go get me some burger patties. Now, is burger patties, something sweet and full of carbs? No. Is it really going to affect me? A little bit, but I don't need to eat. I'm not hungry. It's just that mental connection that you see it and now you want it. That's what's been happening to me, and so it was a fight yesterday and today with myself, just saying, no, John, you're not hungry. You don't need that. No, John, you're not hungry. You don't need that, and have to drive on by. And then once I got past that lunch hour where I normally would eat, then it all went away. My body's like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have much time to really put much detail into that video because I was on my lunch break and I had to eat and get back at work pretty quick. But it really goes back for me to my childhood. It's just been years and years of all the stuff that I've learned and all the different foods and been trained to eat a certain way for so long. So now it's I'm having to retrain myself, and sometimes I'm going to slip up along the way or whatever. But I wouldn't trade what I've learned in 9 months to go back to where I was. And, I can't let those slip ups become like a permanent thing, because I know, with losing 100 pounds, that's great and awesome. But as long as it took me to lose it, I bet you I could gain it back even quicker. I could gain that 100 pounds back pretty quick
you could gain that 100 pounds back in just in weeks. It would take no time whatsoever for your body to kick back in and put all that back on. So I'm going to give you a little trick I learned. Well, there's a couple things here, and I'll throw this out for everybody. If you go to McDonald's and you order 4 quarter-pounder patties, okay, and then get your app out on your phone and give them the number on your phone, okay? It'll give you the number that links your phone to that order and get you the rewards. The next time you're driving into McDonald's, you don't have to even order. You can just go on your app and click, order me 4 quarter-pounder patties, and that may help you. 4 quarter-pounder patties, that's a pound of meat. Eat a pound of meat, drink of water, and cure that craving. Maybe that'll help you get through it. I have it on my phone. So now I don't when I go to a McDonald's and I want to order something, the 4 quarter-pounder patties, I don't have to argue with them. I don't have to tell them where it's at on their menu. They don't have to look for it. I order it in advance and just give them the code. Say, look, I already took care of all the hard work for you. You can't order quarter-pounder patties from your phone, but once you've done it once, you can reorder as much as you want to. That makes sense?
Yeah, that's a cool little trick.
Yeah, it's a cool little trick. Ground beef guy, you remember him from the meetup we were at in South Carolina?
Oh yeah, Randy.
He taught me that trick, and it works. And so that might you might give you something to fall back on. Is my point is okay? I'm on lunch and I'm headed towards McDonald's. Let me fight through this. Let me order 4 quarter-pounder patties. It's going to feed me. It's going to cure my hunger. But it isn't going to be so far off diet that I'm, consuming a bunch of carbs. Food for thought. What's her name? Zero Carb Life. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. When you're having that craving, what you do next is what you print in your brain. So if you're craving sweets, but you feed it bacon, you're craving, it'll want bacon. That makes sense?
Oh yeah. And bacon will do the trick too.
Bacon will do the trick. Cook you up 3 pounds of bacon on the grill, and then keep it a bag of it in your pocket or something. And then when you're craving, pop a little bacon in your mouth, and that'll stop that sugar craving. Let's all right. Let's back up here. We're just kind of wandering all over the place. So, all right, guys. So. Carnivore Kipp's here. Everybody knows him pretty well, but we're going to talk about and go back and talk about some of his history. If you got questions for either one of us, please put a Q in front of it in your comments, because what I do is I go search through them and then I start marking them with a star on my end so that I can go back and watch, or we can go back and go through them, because I can't go through every single comment. You guys start having conversations with yourselves out there, and then it gets confusing for me on my end. So make sure you put a Q. I'll be looking for them. I think I just saw some pop up here. Anyways, let me delve back and see if there's any others here. Kipp, so you talk about your childhood. I was a fat kid when I was young too, so I know about being overweight and being obese. When I was up to about 12, 13, I was pretty skinny, but after 13, I blew up like a balloon, and I put on a lot of weight. And there's no pictures from those periods in time because I was so embarrassed with how much I weighed back then that I didn't like getting in even photos. So there's no evidence of my weight because I was intentional to make sure that it didn't happen. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't like taking pictures either, honestly.
Yeah, if you go back that period of time between when I was about 13 and until I was about 17, 18, you won't find hardly any photos of me because I didn't want to be in them because I knew how bad I looked and overweight I was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see. I'm just looking for cues here real quick. I only saw the one. I might just go ahead and ask that question.
I see two right now.
Where's the other one? This one's
there's
at
one 710. Like 2 or 3 comments above that one. There's another one.
Oh, I see it. Okay, I'll star that one. We'll come back to it. All right, let's do this one real quick since I got it up. Are you still meal prepping?
Is that for me? Is that for me?
I would assume that's for you. Yeah.
In general, I do try to meal prep, but this week with everything, I was planning to smoke a brisket Sunday, and I was actually going to have the brisket smoking while we were doing the live chat. But when my wife and my daughter were sick, that fell through. I still have the brisket in the refrigerator, but I'm going to cook it this weekend. So that kind of fell through, and that kind of messed me up a little bit, with what I was going to eat at work all week. And that might have a little bit of something to do with it by not having that food there. I know there's been times that I've went to like Sonic in a pinch and told them I just want some of their little hamburger patties or whatever. And but sometimes I get bored with the hamburger patties after a while. Like it'll get me through for a day or two, but I can't just go to Sonic and eat hamburger patties every day for lunch. I have to have a steak or have some brisket or some chuck roast. I got to throw something else in there besides just those hamburger patties every single day for lunch, or it just doesn't work out for me. But yeah, I do the meal prepping, but I didn't get to this past week.
I do very little meal prepping. I probably should do some more of it. I've done some in the past. Sometimes when I cook, because I have a big Blackstone grill, and so I'll cook up a bunch of burgers, and the extra burgers will go in the refrigerator, and we'll end up eating those over the next couple of days. So that's kind of my meal prepping. But I really like just eating the OMAD when I can do it. There are days though where I have to eat during the day. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. OMAD would make it easier because then I really wouldn't have to meal prep as much, for when I'm at work and things like that. I could just plan out to have like a bunch of steak or a bunch of hamburger meat or something at the house for supper. That would make things easier. But I'm always worried, like if I skip lunch at work and then we get real busy about 2 o'clock in the evening, 3 o'clock in the evening, and I'm hungry, I'm like, what am I going to do? Which I know hunger's different on carnivore than hunger used to be. But still, I don't want to be sitting there having to work and I can't focus because I'm hungry.
The hard thing about carnivore, and it's a hard thing for a lot of people, is differentiating between hunger and craving. Hunger is something where your body's craving nourishment because it needs energy and needs fuel, and there's cravings where it's just craving something in particular. Like I was craving that pizza today. I wasn't hungry, but the smell of it was making my mouth water and giving me some major cravings. So those are both struggles. Sometimes I use salt to starve off the cravings if you get them like that. Sometimes just a pinch of salt in the mouth will convince your body that you ate something. Let's answer this question. Carnivore or Charger Mopar wants to know why he's so skinny and why he never got any muscle on it. Well, that's what happens when you eat too damn many iguanas and you cook all your food on your greasy engine. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. Oh, Rick, something else, man. He's always got a comment to say or something about his ducks or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, he's got these fat waddling ducks that he's feeding all this garbage to. He's constantly feeding them the garbage, and then he's like, "Hey, why don't you cook your steak on your engine?" Yeah. I don't know about your engine, but mine's not clean enough to be cooking steak on.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
hey, you ever cooked the steak? Speaking of, I know you like cooking, and I like cooking. You ever cooked the steak directly on the fire?
No, I've thought about doing it. It's like caveman style, like you blow the cherries off or the ashes off of the coals with like a leaf blower or something, and then just put the steak on there. I think they call it caveman style,
I don't even worry blowing
but
the stuff
I
off
have
there.
I
You
haven't
get a good
done it.
fire going. You get a good
Yeah, you
fire
want to
going,
get
and
a
then when it
good
burns
fire
down to
going.
just coals, you take your steak
Yeah,
and you lay it directly right on the coals, and
yeah,
you won't get the ash.
got you.
Yeah, cowboy
I've
style.
seen some guys do it where they have the coals going for a while, like from the wood, and they let it burn down for a bit, but then they would still take like a leaf blower and hit it one good time to make sure there's nothing on there, and then they would put it right on top of that. Some barbecue channels have done that.
I haven't seen that, but that's cool too. Um, Cowboy style is you make a fire, it burns down, and you take your steak and you literally just lay it right on top of the coals, and you let it char, and then you flip it over and cook it on the other side, and that's actually really good eating. A little salt, and you and your pocket knife, and you are set. You want to answer this anymore?
I do cook straight over a wood fire sometimes because I can do that on one of my offset smokers where I have wood fire going, but it's still elevated just a little bit on a grate.
All right, so I know you smoke brisket because you're down there and you're constantly talking about brisket. I take it you smoke pork butts.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You ever smoked a prime rib roast?
I do that all the time.
Okay. What else do you smoke? You smoke a turkey?
Yeah, I do that for the holidays, and I always have different people asking me, friends and family, and all kind of different people asking me, "Hey, will you smoke turkeys for me?" So I mean, I've done them multiple different ways. I think my favorite way to do, well, it's not all into the details, but my favorite seasoning on turkeys is like a garlic jalapeno turkey. I like doing a spicy garlic jalapeno turkey and putting it in the smoker because I mean you're using the same technique basically as you would in the oven. You still want to cook it at a high heat, and it'll take similar to about the same amount of time. But whenever it's got that smoke flavor added to it, you can't beat that.
Do you brine your turkeys?
Yeah, I usually do put it in like with salt and let it set at least 24 hours in the water. You can buy pre-brine, like stuff that's already made to brine, or you can just use salt. I know we're carnivore now, but so you don't want to use sugar, but a lot of people would take like sugar and salt and then other different herbs and oranges and all kind of stuff and put that in the brine, and you can do it that way too.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if I'm going to brine a turkey because it's a brine and it's brining the turkey, I normally will put up in probably about a half a gallon, maybe a gallon of orange juice. There'll be some water, there'll be some salt, there'll be a few spices in there. The citrus in the orange juice, opens up the pores, and people don't realize that turkey is, by the time it makes it to the store and it's sold to you, it's lost so much of its moisture, and that's why they come out of the oven dry. And so the brine reopens it and puts a lot of moisture back in there. And I've never had one come out sweet. So I'm not worried about the carbohydrates in a turkey if I brine it. And I just can't see doing it without it because I know what citrus does to turkey. So
yeah,
and
citrus.
I'm not I'm not a carnivore
like
policeman. I'm not a hardcore carnivore that we're just doing salt and beef, salt and water or something. I still drink my coffee every morning. Some people need to just relax and enjoy life.
Yeah,
they
but
get way
I
too
think
uptight.
what I was talking about though is like some people will take the salt, like they'll take like a cup of salt, but then they'll also take just a straight cup of sugar as well and mix the salt 50-50 with the sugar and the salt. And then in that situation, it's a lot more sugar going into it, but it's still,
no, I don't do that.
but still a lot of that stuff's going to cook off anyway. I mean, when you're cooking.
So 22 cute cat here says is Abigail blah, 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 doing better? Tell Mackenzie hi.
I'll definitely tell her you said hi, 22Q Cat. And Abigail, she's doing a lot better. She went back to daycare yesterday, and she's been doing a lot better. She's having a transition to that whole thing, and plus getting different sicknesses from other little kids, but she's doing better.
All right, we got another question right here. We might as well throw this one up. I want to smoke a brisket. Would a regular barbecue be okay?
And when she says barbecue, is she talking about like a normal smoker?
I'm assuming she's talking about like a regular barbecue. I don't know if it's gas or charcoal. She's saying barbecue. It can be done, but it's not as good. You really need to offset it and let that keep that temperature down and let that smoke roll.
Yeah. If you have like something like a Weber kettle grill, you can do some pretty good stuff with that if you use wood chunks and you keep your heat to your coals to one side and keep your meat on the other. But the problem that you run into is when you're cooking briskets, they're so big and take up so much space that when you're cooking them on like a little Weber kettle, you're kind of running out of real estate. And so a lot of times your edges are coming up against the little metal, and it's just not getting the proper airflow because it's too much meat in that Weber kettle to smoke for a long time. And then you got to fight temperature swings too.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say you need at least an offset smoker, barbecue on one side, little smoke box on the other, so that you can get some temperature and smoke rolling. You want to maintain about that. What I shoot for about 220, 225. And let it roll for a long, long time. That's my goal anyways.
Yeah, you can't beat an offset smoker. If you got an offset smoker, that's going to be your best flavor that you're going to get. A lot of people, I'd say the vast majority of people that are getting into barbecue now, they use pellet grills. And there's nothing wrong with a pellet grill if that's what you want to use, but you don't get the best flavor with a pellet grill. I mean, it'll work.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've smoked some stuff on my pellet. I bought this.
I know.
I bought it. It looks like a moonshine still is what it looks like. It's funny, but it's actually a pellet smoker, and I've had people tell me that they were absolutely amazed by how well this tasted. And one of these ladies was actually a judge in smoke and barbecue and stuff, and she was like really impressed with it, and she had no idea that I pellet smoked it. So
the reason that a judge would say that is because most of the people that cook in barbecue competitions use pellet grills because they're easy to use. Most of them use pellet grills because they don't have to manage the fire. They can focus on their sauces and all that.
I've managed a lot of fires, but there is the convenience of turning it on and going back in the house and having my little Bluetooth watch on it, and be able to watch my temperatures and watch the television while I'm waiting on it to cook, But I've sat out there and, burned wood all night long and smoked them and done the whole thing and, drank quite a bit of beer and, done the whole thing. So I've been on both sides of it. I kind of like the convenience of it. It's a pit boss. That's what it is. I bought this thing. Some guy got it brand new. He bought one, and then his wife bought him a better one for Christmas, and he never even put this thing together. So I ran across, I don't know, it was like 45 minutes to an hour away. He just wanted next to nothing for it, and so I got this thing for cheap. And I've smoked a lot of food, from turkeys, pork butts, ribs. Ribs are my favorite, especially on Carnivore. I love smoking pork ribs.
Yeah, I like salt, pepper, garlic ribs.
Let's give a shout out to Mr. Ground Beef Guy, my buddy here. How can anyone get tired of hamburger patties? He's Ground Beef Guy.
I do, man. I can't help it. I just get tired of them sometimes, man. But I gotta ask you before we go on to the next topic. So I agree with you on convenience of a pellet grill. Like I tell a lot of my subscribers, because I mean barbecue's in my channel name, so I get tons of people all the time that ask me about grills, and I'll tell them if you want convenience, the best smoker you're going to get is a pellet grill. I used to own, have you ever heard of a Yoder Smokers?
Mm-hmm.
I used to own a Yoder Smokers YS640 pellet grill, and then I cook on my father-in-law. He's got a Rectech pellet grill. Cook on it all the time, and they're all great, and I love the convenience of that or whatever. But do you mean to tell me that you think that a pellet grill, if you cooked on your pellet grill and a good offset stick burner, you think that you would get the same flavor profile from the pellet grill?
I think I could give her a run for your money.
I would love that challenge, buddy.
I think we can make it happen.
I would love that challenge.
I think I could give you a run. I can get a great bark. I can get good penetration.
Yeah, you can get good bark, good penetration, but there's something about using real wood versus pellets.
Oh, I agree. I tell you, I've done both sides of it. So, but I like the convenience of the pellet. But if I want to build a big smoker out back, I'm actually going to build, because what I like doing is when I go deer hunting, I'll take a lot of stupid lights blocking me out. I hate it when it does that. I'll take a lot of the venison, and I will make jalapeno and cheddar cheese summer sausage. I get the special, high temperature cheddar cheese, and I mix it in there. So you got these little chunks of cheddar cheese mixed out through the summer sausage, and then I smoke it in applewood. And that's an all night event. So I'm going to build me a full size smokehouse out there that I can hang sausage in and smoke, and that's good eating. So yeah. I agree with you. I love a good smoke, but I've been both sides of it, and I can lay down a pretty good feast off the pellet grill, and
I can too. I love it.
I'd love to be in a blind test on it someday. Would you? We could cook it up and do a blind test.
And look, here's the thing too. Not all offset smokers are created equal. Because it depends on some of the really, really cheap low end ones, they kind of get all over the place with their temperatures. They put too much wood in there, and then their fire gets crazy, or they don't know how to keep the fire right. You got to have your fire run the right way for a long time to get it right. Because if your fire's dying out and then going up and dying out and going up, you're not going to have good barbecue.
That's whether it's pellet or wood. If you get too cold or get too hot, it changes everything.
But that ain't gonna happen with most pellet grills because they do it for you.
Yeah, there is that. We'll do it someday here. We'll throw it down. Yeah. We'll get everybody together. We'll have a meetup or something somewhere, and we'll throw it out there. And we won't tell nobody whose is which, and we'll see what we can make happen.
They'll know.
It'd be a fun little challenge between the two of us.
Yeah,
because we both love smoking meat.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Where are we at here? Let me look here. I'm looking for cues. See if there's anything I missed here. I like this one. Yeah. Okay, now I'm hungry, laughing out loud. Yeah, well, that's why I ate before this, because I knew we were going to talk about barbecue tonight.
Yeah, now I wish I would have went ahead and smoked that brisket, because I could be eating some right now.
Yeah, you could have eaten that brisket, and you wouldn't have had those cravings today at McDonald's.
Yep, you're right.
She said it's a regular barbecue here. I see that's in there. Hey, don't. Looking for cues. You got questions? Put them in the comments, people. Let's see. There's a lot of comments in here. You got a big fan club, buddy.
I appreciate it. I think you have a no, they're just starred. I thought that was a super chat for a second.
No, I'm just starring messages with a cue so I can.
Gotcha.
So I can I do that. I learned that if I star them, then I can go back to just start and read through my questions. So when I just sit over here and people are talking, I look for my cues so that I can mark them for later. I don't see any more cues in there at the moment.
So we're caught up.
Here's a comment for you. Let's see here. It's the skill level when it comes to smoking meat. Absolutely.
I agree.
Woodchuck. Did someone say wood? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? All right. So tell me, Kipp, what made you get your channel going? I mean, you're doing the barbecue thing, obviously, but when I first started watching, you only had a few hundred subscribers. That was before I even started my channel. What's been your drive and motivation, on the channel? What was your why?
Well, my why is because I wanted to be able to be around for my daughter, and I wanted to be able to. I tell people on my channel all the time, I want to be able. She's like, she just hit 20 months old, so she's coming up on 2 years old. But when I was almost 500 pounds, there's no way that I was going to be able to walk at her wedding and whenever she's older, and walk her down the aisle and anything. I'd be lucky to even still be alive then. And so, because of the choices that I was making, and so that's my why, is to be around for my family, and to get all the little health improvements and things like that, and overcome diabetes and stuff like that. But so that's the why side of it. But the reason that I started the channel is because that would help try to keep me accountable to at least somebody. Initially I thought that it would be just a few people, which I know everybody says that. Like everybody says when they start a channel, I think it's just going to be a few people or whatever. But I mean, I really did. I mean, I live in a small town. A lot of other people already had these established channels or whatever. So I was like, I'm just going to put it out there and maybe somebody will watch. But mainly because I could document it and one day show it to my daughter whenever she's older and can see the changes that I made. And so I started filming. It was terrible, but I kept it. I mean, it was terrible. I didn't even have a good angle. I mean, I looked crazy out there talking to myself. I was super nervous, and but I just kept filming, and then I learned a little bit more each video, and just kept sharing my story, and somehow people started wanting to know more and learn more about it, and then it become this whole community of people that are cheering me on every day, trying to get me to, or help me to get towards my goals. And I appreciate everybody for it.
Bacteria
to
the bloodstream.
So we got a question here, and neither one of us is really qualified to answer this, but I'm going to put it up here. I have a nurse in the background giving me the rundown of it.
Can you explain leaky gut? And how do you know if you have it? Somebody was actually commenting in my video today. I'm going to let the nurse answer the question, but somebody was commenting today in my video saying, hey, you could have leaky gut. So let them answer it.
Hold on one second.
All right. I'm curious to hear what they have to say about it. And Cyborg Funky Labs. I seen what Cyborg Funky Labs just said. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. You might as well tell them, come on in the stream. No.
She's shy.
I'm not shy.
Prove it.
Oh, listen here.
I can hear
leaky
you.
gut is a syndrome in a proposed intestinal condition in which a weakening of the intestinal wall allows bacteria and toxins into the bloodstream. Leaky gut
it causes fatigue and
causes inflammation through the body, causes fatigue. It causes a bunch of stuff. So the person that asked the question, where we got Jasmine, give us some more context to it. But we're not doctors, and we're not giving any type of medical advice. We're just giving our own experiences. But
we two country boys.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely two country boys. But if we can help answer that a little bit for you, do you think you have leaky gut? Because, I mean, if you do, then the best thing to do is probably go see a doctor, because, bacteria getting into your bloodstream is definitely not a good thing.
Well, not only that, the inflammation. it causes. It causes inflammation in your gut can cause diverticulitis and all sorts of gut issues.
You guys getting all that?
Yeah, I got it.
So.
Yeah, I'm not trained on leaky gut, so
No, I mean that's not. But you know what? If you really you want to ask that question again, this coming Sunday, I got Dr. Kiltz is going to be on our live stream on Sunday at 1:00 p.m. And
wow.
he's going to be a great person to be able to answer that question.
He will definitely have an answer. I'm pretty sure he'll have an answer for it.
Yeah, he'd have an answer for it. And like I said, we had Dr. Tony Hampton on last Sunday, and then this Sunday this coming Sunday we're going to have Dr. Robert Kiltz on the Carnivore Roundtable live stream. So looking forward to that. Let's see here.
Yeah, if I wasn't just getting out of church around that time or a little bit around that time, I would hop on one Sunday with y'all. But I think that's cutting it too close for me to make it.
There's the disclaimer. Keto Cheetah's got it right. Doctors suck, but you still got to go see one. All right. I don't see any other cues in there at the moment. Because that was there. I got that one. Yeah. So, anyways, so you got your channel started, but you didn't start the channel before you went carnivore, huh? So I was kind of thinking maybe you had started on the barbecue idea and then you decided to add the carnivore in after the fact, but they all came at the same time.
Barbecue, I was always cooking barbecue before I started the channel, but I wasn't filming content or anything like that. I mean, I used to take pictures of my stuff, like barbecue stuff that I would cook and put it on my Facebook, but that was just pictures, not videos.
Okay.
And so whenever I started the channel, I had thought about doing a barbecue channel in the past, but when I started my carnivore journey, like I was like, well, if I'm doing carnivore, I might as well just show some of my cooking recipes and things like that. So I do that when I can, but it's really been hard to fit it in the schedule because, just like me, when you're cooking barbecue, a lot of it's on the weekends and like that's busy family time and stuff like that. And I can't take all the time away from my family to, do videos like that. It's enough time cooking the barbecue plus trying to film it all.
Absolutely. Here's Laura Russell says leaky gut is where your food isn't broke down fully and goes into your system, and so bacteria and food end up where it doesn't belong. So yeah, I understand. I just heard it mentioned on different carnivore channels, but missed exactly what it was and if you knew if you had it. I don't know of anybody that had it. Kipp, I mean, you've been on a lot of different live streams. I've been on a bunch of different live streams. Haven't had anybody that actually had leaky gut. I've had people who've dealt with fibromyalgia and cured it with carnivore. I've had people that all kinds of autoimmune diseases. I've had people, that have cancer that have put your cancer in remission by using carnivore. But I don't know anything about leaky gut. What about you, Kipp?
I mean, I haven't heard anybody say that they had it in any of our live streams that we've had, and we've done quite a few. But I do. It seems like when I first started keto, before I did carnivore, I'm not sure if you know who Dr. Berg is, but it seems like he may have had a video that was talking about that there is a lot of people, if I remember it correctly, I may not even, don't quote me because I'm not even sure if I remember it correctly, but it seems like he may have been saying that there may be a lot of people that have leaky gut that don't even know that they have it. So it could be one of them things that some people might have because of their diet and things like that, or I don't know if it's hereditary or what, that may have symptoms from that they just don't know that that's what it is. It hasn't been diagnosed or anything.
All right. Kipp, do you have any lab works before you started? Did you do any lab works before you started, bud?
Yeah, well, it wasn't like the day before I started or anything like that, but I had lab work in November before I started, and I started in January. And in November, you know, my cholesterol levels were already a little elevated because I had done keto so many times or whatever. Like, because I was on and off keto. It was like this roller coaster. And so that was elevated a little bit, but I wasn't really concerned with cholesterol. But I definitely had type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. My blood pressure has come down some since I started carnivore, but I've completely reversed type 2 diabetes. It went down to 5.6, which is just below pre-diabetes, because pre-diabetes is 5.7. So in basically 4 to 5 months from when I started, I already reversed type 2 diabetes. So, I mean, I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, me too. So I had lab work done back in July or so of 22. And then I had lab work done again in July of 23. And I took my A1C from 7.1 to 5.7. Took my triglycerides were like 200 and something last year, and they were like 86, I think, this year. My HDLs went up a little bit. My LDLs were up just about 10 points or so. But my ratio to triglycerides to HDL was just absolutely, amazing. So those are the labs that I had done, and I plan on having labs probably done again in around March or so once I've been on the diet a year. But labs are great, but feeling great's even better.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll definitely get some labs done. I'm not sure if I'll get them done. I used to get it done every 6 months. I haven't heard from my doctor recently. I know I could call him and schedule, but I think I'm due around December for labs, unless I push it out for a year. But I mean, I can tell that things have gotten better even since the last time that I was there. But so I'm not super focused on the number, because I mean, I know things are just going to slowly get better.
Absolutely. I'm going to wear a green shirt the next time, so I'm just ahead over here. You see this thing just like blocking me out over here? It's driving me crazy. This shirt's actually kind of green, so I don't know. Every once in a while, it catches my hair, and it just turns into a hole in me. It's kind of funny to watch.
I like your shirt though, man. That's a cool shirt. I like it.
You got a shirt yet?
No, ever since I've started the channel, I've had different people ask me about making shirts or whatever, but I've never looked into it. I feel like everybody has a shirt, and I just didn't want to be another guy having a shirt. But at the same time, I don't know if people have asked, so I might do it.
I'm the one that commented on one of your videos that said that would be the perfect shirt. Let's jog, y'all.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I didn't remember that was you, but I do remember that comment.
It was probably before I went carnivore backwards, and it was still just coming up, Jay Collis or whatever it was I was using back then. But yeah, I still think that'd be a great shirt for you. Let's jog, y'all.
Yeah.
You say it a lot.
Yeah, I do.
I have never used a charcoal grill.
I don't realize that I say it. It just comes out.
Yeah, well, it's all good. I have never used a charcoal grill, and I was wondering, how do you start it and how do you put it out? Also, can you use the same charcoal more than once? What do you do with the charcoal when it's done? So, no, charcoal is going to be burnt when you're done. But go ahead and answer that, Kipp.
Well, for me, it depends on how much charcoal you put in there and what you're cooking, how long it's going to take. Like if I've got enough charcoal left over, there have been times that I've put the charcoal out by killing it at the top vent and the bottom. Especially like I don't know if you've ever used a drum smoker, but they use charcoal also. But whenever, like, I have a Hunsaker drum smoker, and whenever I get done with the cook, if there's enough charcoal left in the thing, I can kill it out and then shake the ash loose at the bottom and dump it out, and then just add a little bit of extra charcoal to that the next time. But normally,
I'm lazy. I just let it burn out.
Yeah, I know that you're spending more money that way if you cook a lot, because, I mean, if you don't cook that often, then it's fine. But if you're cooking barbecue like constant, every little bit that you can save will help. But, I mean, it just depends on what you're cooking too. Like if I'm cooking a pork butt, then I'm not going to worry about trying to save charcoal because I've already used so much of it. But if I've got a basket big enough that'll hold a lot of charcoal and I have a ton left over, I'm not going to just, because if you leave the vents open, like you said, it is going to burn out. And then you can, once it's cooled down, you can dump your ash out or whatever. The ash actually won't hurt the ground. But you can go dump it wherever you want to and it'll be fine. But make sure it ain't hot whenever you try to move it and dump it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, Becky's in the house here. She says, I would recommend nutrition with Judy, aka Judy Cho, for info on leaky gut or SIBO or CIRS. So there's
I think
some
that one's
for you.
SIBO, and I'm not sure what CIRS is, but I've heard somebody mention it recently, but I'm not sure what it is. I need to look up what that is one day.
The resident nurse has her plugs in listening to something, so she's
what? What do you want?
CIRS. Is that what is that? SIBO and CIRS.
Placebo and CIRS?
Not placebo. SIBO. SIBO.
Hang on.
It's like having a backseat driver.
I'm listening to you because you're,
I'll turn the camera and put you in it here in a second. She's back here somewhere.
As a nurse, she'd be good.
Chronic inflammatory response syndrome. Chronic inflammatory response syndrome. CIRS. There it is.
It's inflammation.
It's inflammation, which is that's the great thing about carnivore is it gets rid of the inflammation.
I might actually have that though, depending on the way it sounds. Because if I eat off plan, like I have inflammation issues and my shoulder pain comes back and all that. I don't know if it's something that I got, but that sounds familiar.
All right, let's see here. Like we said, disclaimer: we're a couple of country boys. We're not doctors, so if you want a doctor talk, you got to come on Sunday at 1:00 this week. We'll have Dr. Kiltz on, and he'll answer all these questions.
Yeah, that's like in our live stream. Whenever we had Dr. Chafee on there, anytime a doctor question come up, we're like, Dr. Chafee, you got this, because that's out of our league.
All right, let's see. I definitely healed my leaky gut, so there's a little bit of testimony on it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Keto, hey, what did y'all eat today? Steak, eggs, bacon, steak, few bits of chocolate, nibbling on grapes. Now, I had scrambled eggs, cooked in lard, and a big old juicy sirloin smothered in grass-fed butter. You know how hard it is to grass to a butter?
Yeah. You really don't want to know what I ate today, okay? It wasn't good. You might want to ask me that question tomorrow.
Let's say that Carnivore Kipp fell off the wagon today, but he's back on it now.
Yeah.
I always like it when people say, I had grass-fed butter. I'm like, you know how hard it is to feed grass to butter?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Question: do either of you have any videos on how to get started smoking meats? I would love to start smoking meats, but have no clue where to begin. I do not. I haven't done anything on smoking or cooking on my channel. What about you, Kipp?
I don't remember if I have a video that's necessarily named like how to smoke meats or whatever, but in my videos I do have barbecue in. I try to give people pointers and tips that you can use, and I've even showed like how I light the fire, because it's different on each grill. Really depends on what kind of grill you have and how much money you're wanting to spend. If you're just wanting, like, if you're bare bones budget, then I would get something like a Weber kettle and just learn, because you can grill on there and you could technically smoke on there as well, and it won't be that expensive. You can grill on the whole thing, or you can build you a small fire to one side and smoke you a pork butt on the other side. That's how I started barbecue years ago. And I fell in love with it. And then when you fall in love with it, then eventually you start wanting to save up money to spend some serious money on smokers after that.
I've bought a lot of them. I don't know. You're down in Alabama, so you probably got the same problem I got. It rains so much around here that my smokers, my barbecues, every one of them, it is that you no matter what I do, they just constantly rusting out. You end up having to replace them.
That's why my big smoker, my trailer smoker, it has a 1/2-inch firebox, so it won't never rust out.
Yeah, never is a long time, but yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
My grandkids will use it before it rusts out because a half inch firebox is super, super thick.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Do you plan to do labs again at 6 months or a year mark? I don't care about cholesterol either. Congratulations on reversing diabetes. Cool. And we both done that. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna do my labs again when I reach my 1 year on carnivore. That's my plan. Which will be a little less than a year since the last time I had my labs done. But I want to make it to the 1 year mark. And then somewhere thereafter, it might not be exactly at 1 year, but somewhere thereafter, March 1st, I'm going to run my labs again and see. But I'm going to go in and ask for all of my labs this time, whereas last time I didn't get my liver profile and a couple other things in there that I was kind of annoyed that wasn't there. So I'm going to use Dr. Berry's comprehensive guide for labs and make sure I get all the labs that I want when I go in the next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you, Ken?
I need to do that. I need to do that one day because I've seen his little list or whatever. I need to get him to check that. But I mean, they check a lot of stuff already now, and I'm more concerned with how I feel than I am labs. I rank that for me. I rank that the highest is how I feel, and I know whenever I'm eating. Now today I feel like crap because I've been eating junk food today.
You're gonna feel worse tomorrow.
Probably so. My shoulder might start hurting tomorrow.
Yeah, I got off diet 2 weekends ago. The wife and I went up to Gatlinburg and we did some wine tasting, which the wine was fine, but then they had these frozen slushy wine things, and I decided to go ahead and have one of those. And I only probably drank about half of it, and the sugar in that just absolutely. The next morning I woke up, my knees hurt, my back hurt, my body hurt. I was dragging. I couldn't hardly, I had no energy, so I know exactly what you're talking about. When you go off the wagon, you will feel it the next day.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You kind of answered the question. You're going to do labs, when they come up, and then you'll probably do them again whenever they're 1 year mark.
Oh yeah.
The thing you have to consider, and Dr. Aveda's got a really good book on, it's called Staying Off My Operating Table. If you don't have that book, I'd highly recommend getting it. He goes in there and he talks about metabolic health and the different aspects of metabolic health. And one of those is obviously hypertension. So if you have high blood pressure, if you're diabetic, if you're overweight, these are all things that fall into metabolic health. And of course, cholesterol is included in that. High cholesterol is included in that with a lot of people. But on carnivore, you can eliminate hypertension. Carnivore, you can eliminate diabetes. Carnivore, you can eliminate all these inflammation, all these things that cause health problems, and you're left with high cholesterol. But we've all learned that cholesterol doesn't mean exactly what they say it means, and they're learning that slowly too. And there's a lot of good research out there, about a dense cholesterol versus the light and fluffy ones, however you want to look at it. So you need to get that full lab panel of cholesterol. Yeah. And that's mostly to appease your doctor, not yourself, because if you're eating carnivore, I guarantee you probably aren't going to have the dense cholesterol either. But you need to have the whole metabolic picture, and you need to understand what those are. You measure your belly. Let me think here. If you measure your belly 2 inches above your belly button, relax, not sucking it in like all of us, guys like to do when we take pictures. Like, we suck that in. I don't want to look any better than I am.
Don't tell them our secrets, man.
you know, you want to be under a certain, a certain measurement. What is it, 40 inches, of girth? Anybody that's over 40 inches is metabolically unhealthy. You're obese. Yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm still at like 46, 47 inches, so,
What size pants do you wear?
38s.
You still got me. I can probably get in a 44 right now, but I was wearing a 52. So I'm working on it. It's a little at a time working on it.
I was pushing 42, 44, pants, and right now I'm into 38, and I could probably, if I wanted to go, cowboy and skin tight, I could probably push them into a 38, but I'm past that age now where I like wearing pants like that. So,
Yeah.
I normally back when I was 20, and I was doing the cowboy 46. thing. Tight pants is one thing, but not nowadays. I like to be comfortable. All right, let's see here what we got. Do you think it's okay to drink coffee with just half and half, or you could possibly could cause problem with ketosis? I drink coffee every single morning. I have 2 cups. I limit myself to cups, but they're actually pretty good sized cups. So when I say cups, it's more like 4 cups if you were measuring it, maybe 5. I put heavy whipping cream in it. Cup. I put heavy whipping cream in my coffee, and I have a little hand whisker, that works on batteries, that I whisk that whipping cream up to the consistency of whipped cream, and then I pour my coffee over the top of it. And some of that coffee will mix with the whipped cream, and some of it will float on top. I think they, at Starbucks, you'll pay probably like $6 for that, and they call it a dump truck or something like that, that you order. But it's really good that way. It gives you a frothy milk on top, and there's not a lot. It's mostly fat, a little bit of protein, and just a little bit of sugar that's in the cream, and it will not take you out of ketosis. And I drink that, even when I'm fasting on my 48-hour fast, I will drink that in the morning. Now, half and half is not the same thing as heavy cream, and there's more sugar involved in there, especially in some half and half. They actually add sugar to. So I wouldn't recommend half and half at all. Plus, it's got dairy in itself. Regular dairy with the lactose in it can actually stall your weight loss or even make you put some weight on. So I don't recommend half and half to anybody. Kipp, what's your thoughts?
I think that half and half would be better than milk, but it wouldn't be better than heavy cream. I think that heavy cream is definitely the better option, because half and half is kind of in between milk and heavy cream. So, but I would put heavy cream as, if you're going to have creamer in your coffee, any kind of creamer, use heavy cream. And I'm not sure if you've tried this, but like you're talking about mixing it up. They make these little frothers on Amazon that you can buy, and it's a little $10 thing or $13, and you put it down. It comes with like a little battery. You just set it down in your coffee cup and press the button, and it spins really fast, and it blends it up really well.
That's what I have.
Yeah, and you can do that with heavy cream, and it makes really good coffee.
I have a video. I have a video on my channel, and it's only 2 or 3 videos back. Actually, when me and the wife made our coffee, that we drink every morning on Carnivore. So if you want to see it, and I have a link. It's an affiliate link to the little whipper for making the cream. So
but I kind of gave up coffee. Because I was never a big coffee drinker. I just drank maybe 3 cups a week or something. I didn't drink it every single day. So when I started Carnivore, I was just like, I'm going to just go ahead and give up because when I first started, I was like, I'm going to go dairy free as well. Well, except butter, which technically some people say, there's some dairy there or whatever in butter. So I decided that I was just going to go dairy free and not have cheese, mainly because of the cheese. And so I didn't do cheese. I didn't do heavy cream or anything like that. And I got really good results. So I decided to just keep heavy cream out and keep coffee out and all that stuff. and I've been doing good. But I know that coffee, a lot of people got to have their coffee. So if you got to do it, use heavy cream.
I don't have to have it, but I enjoy it. It's my morning ritual. So heavy cream, if you take heavy cream and you whisk it, you'll get whipped cream. If you keep whisking it, you get butter. Butter is the next step past whipped cream. So when you're eating butter, you're actually eating heavy cream. You're not really getting the dairy part of it. That's the great thing about heavy cream, is it separates from the milk and all the sugars and stuff that's in milk. The cream rises to the top, right? And so that's why heavy cream is actually better for you on the diet. And there's some can't think what they're called. There's something in heavy cream and butter that actually affects your appetite and helps suppress it and stuff. So it's actually not a bad thing to consider.
So do you think that having heavy cream is better than not having heavy cream at all and just eating meat and eggs or whatever?
Oh no. I'm sure if I was just eating meat and eggs, I'd probably lose weight faster. But
because I think the same thing. I even think cutting out butter might help some people.
I don't know. It depends on what you're eating, because you got to have a good fat source, and a lot of what the meat that we get is just so lean because everything is cut to be lean. You have to understand, if you went to the butcher 50 years ago and you went and bought ribeyes, it would have had a big old chunk of fat on there. They wouldn't have trimmed that off. And over the last 20, 30 years, they've taught our butchers, oh, you got to make this lean. So trim that fat. Don't leave anything on there. And, we don't get the fat that we used to get, even if you just went back 40, 50 years ago. And if you go back 100 years ago, it's completely different.
That's why I use tallow.
Yeah, I use tallow. I use lard. But the butter, I have that on my steak. I like the flavor of it, with the steak.
Oh, butter's good. I love the taste of it.
But I didn't eat butter for a few days, and I knew it because I wasn't getting enough fat in my diet because it was affecting myself in the bathroom. So you gotta have the fat on this diet. You can't just eat the protein. The fat's actually probably more important than the protein.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Looking for cues. What we got here? Here's Joyce. Was an awesome meeting you both. Who is having the next meetup?
Probably you.
Joyce. I'm actually going to a meetup this coming Saturday with Dr. Wiedemann and some other carnivore keto in Loudon, Tennessee, which I just found out by accident. I was just happened to look on keto events, and I was like, oh, look at that. That's right here in my backyard. So I'm going to that this Saturday. I don't know of any planned meetups. I've talked about it, and I'm thinking about doing something for maybe in the spring, but I haven't scheduled anything. The only other one that I know of off the top of my head is that KetoCon, which is in Austin, and I think that's in May. Don't hold me to that because I might be wrong, but I think it's in May.
And they changed the name of it too. I think it's called Hack My Health or something like that. Like, it's not KetoCon anymore. I don't think. I think they changed the name because they know that like the keto community is more like, it's more like keto, carnivore, ketovore, all that. It's not just like keto anymore. So they changed it to like Hack My Health or something, which is like everything included.
Yeah, well, we're all in some form of ketogenic diet. We all fall under it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's what I got. I don't know of any others. I know that Wick Goes Carnivore and former Fat Girl were talking about maybe having something up in Virginia. But I don't think they have anything set in stone on it. I might have a small meetup here with some of my locals. If they want to get together, we can meet over, over some steak somewhere and have a chat. I wouldn't mind doing that, but there's nothing official out there, Joyce. But I'll let you know if I come across anything or if I plan something. Charger Mopar. Here's the question. I don't even want to read it. I don't know. I know barbecue purists hate propane grills, but you have to use wood gas grill. But have you used a wood gas grill?
I have.
So Charger Mopar has a thing where he's taken wood and turned it into fuel. But I don't know if or maybe he's talking about a hybrid where there's wood and gas.
He's always
I haven't used. He's always up to something. He's always got tricky questions.
Yeah.
I haven't used it. I haven't used a hybrid, and I definitely haven't used anything else that's fueled by wood. Let's see. There's another one that met us both up in South Carolina. Greetings, gentlemen. It was great to meet you guys in South Carolina. Ted in Termont. Outstanding. Well, welcome, Ted. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Me and Kipp have had this plan for a while, and we were going to do it Sunday, but then we had some family stuff that came up, so we ended up rescheduling. I was going to plan for next Sunday, but that wasn't going to work for us, so we just decided we're doing it tonight. We're just going to get on here, and we've had quite a few people in here, so I'm pretty happy with it. If you haven't, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Go to my channel, do the same. Go to Kipp's channel, do the same. Help us out. Just get our word. I hit 904 subscribers today, so I'm pushing ever closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark. My big thing right now is trying to get watch hours. I still got to get a couple thousand watch hours before I get the full monetization and possibility of the channel. Not that I'm going to get rich or anything, but it would be nice to be able to pay for some of the stuff I spend money on.
Yeah, and for since you mentioned that, for those of y'all that are watching my channel, when this is done, go ahead and go subscribe to his channel and help him out. Let's see if we can get him closer to 1,000, maybe even over 1,000. That'd be cool too. I know when I got to 1,000, that was a huge deal. So y'all help him out.
I remember when you got, like I said, I started following your channel. You only had 200 or 300 subscribers, and that was back when I was operating under my other name before I went Carnivore backwards. My camera's right in front of everybody's comments, so it makes it really hard. That's why I keep looking over here. I got my camera in the wrong spot tonight. Let's see here. I'm looking for questions.
I see somebody asked about vitamin D at
Where's that
7:05 or 8:05 your time.
I haven't got that far down. Somebody said Dr. Oveda's test showed I was still metabolically unhealthy. Yeah, mine too. I think we're all there. But I've eliminated a few of them. I'm no longer diabetic, and and of course I'm not completely off my medication for blood pressure, but I'm really close to it. And once I do that and I get my blood pressure under control, I'm no longer diabetic, and I got my HDLs and my triglycerides. I mean, those are several of the key markers for metabolic health.
Do you just go Google his test or whatever, or how did you find his test?
I found his test because I read his book. Well, actually, I listened to it on audio. It's actually a really good book, and you can buy it and read it, or you can do an audio. But I believe if you just YouTube him, he's got a channel, and a lot of that stuff is out there, so you could probably find it without having to pay anything.
Got you. You got another subscriber right there.
Outstanding. Thank you. Coffee and heavy cream is heaven. Every morning, I get up about 5 o'clock. Some mornings I'll sleep in a little bit, but I try to get up every morning at 5 o'clock, especially during the week when I'm working. I turn on Dr. Kiltz's Power Hour, and I drink a couple of cups of coffee. That's what I do every morning. It's how I start. I want to start off with the energy of Dr. Kiltz, carnivore, get my mind straight, sip on some coffee. That's my morning ritual. And if you haven't catch Dr. Kiltz's Power Hour at 5 a.m. in the morning, that man's amazing. That man is just full of energy.
I've never watched his Power Hour. I've watched a lot of his videos, but I've never actually watched one of his Power Hours. Every
morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. So That'd be
That's probably why I haven't watched it, because that'd be 4 a.m. my time.
Yeah, you're an hour behind me, so yeah. Where'd you say it was? 8:05. Hey, Bill's in here. Hey, Bill.
Bill.
Bill, you got to shoot me an email. I'd love to have you on the Carnivore Roundtable on a Sunday if you're available. Shoot me an email at carnivorebackwoods@gmail.com. I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to get you on the channel or something if you're up for that, bud. I appreciate you. And I know you're up there in Alaska and your time zones are different. So, but I'll work around it if you want to get on the channel, but I'd love to have you. Let's see.
Yeah,
here.
I still gotta get up with Bill one day. I keep saying that one day me and Bill's gonna go on a jog together, and we haven't made that happen yet. But so Bill needs to get up. We gotta get up one day.
So here's the thing, Kipp. Here's what we'll do. Me and you we're gonna smoke some meat. Okay. I'll smoke mine. You smoke yours, and Bill will be the taste tester. That'd be awesome.
Bill wouldn't have a problem with it.
I'm sure Bill would be down for that.
Oh yeah,
and make a good video. We could have
he's doing salmon. He's doing salmon now too, so we could smoke him some ribeyes and we could smoke him some salmon.
I had some friends that were living up in Alaska, and so I sent them a whole bunch of venison. I put it down in a styrofoam medical chest and dry iced it. And I shipped it to them, and he took it and filled it full of salmon, filled it back full of dry ice, and shipped it back to me. That was the best trade I ever made.
Yep.
Let's see. We got thanks for answering. I'm going to try the heavy cream. I love it, and like I said, I got a video on it if you want to watch it. But it brings a new complex. I mean, if you're not going to have sugar, it brings something to the coffee that makes it worth drinking. I can't drink black coffee. That's just, you might as well drink mud. Man, there's a lot of comments. I appreciate everybody being with us tonight.
Absolutely.
We're 8:04.
Hoping some of them will go subscribe to your channel, man. They need to help you out.
Oh, Trina's on here. This is one of my regular, long time, been here since the beginning subscribers. She's always here to support me. Do you think we should take vitamin D in the winter months? Lack of sun. Dr. Barry has some really good videos on vitamin D and supplementing. I'd highly recommend those. It's not going to hurt you to take vitamin D. And you definitely need vitamin D. And if you can't get the sun, then, it's something that you could probably look at. I wouldn't say that you couldn't do it. And you just have to take it and see how you feel about it. Like I said, Dr. Barry's got some really good videos on this, but I don't personally take any supplements, because I get 90% of what I need from ribeyes and ground beef and eggs and butter. But I wouldn't be against it. I think it's a personal choice. I don't know of anybody that's feeling icky because they're not, or at least ways knowing that they are. But you take it and see how you respond to it. Do your own little research and take it and see how you feel taking it. I'd like to know how it goes for you.
Yeah, I would also add too, because I'm deficient in vitamin D. Okay. So because you can get when you get your lab work done, you can get them to check your vitamin D levels and just see where you're at. And what's crazy is, like, I live in South Alabama. We have tons of sunlight here and super hot days and all that stuff. And still a lot of people here are low in vitamin D. And so, and you got to think, I think some of it might have to do with the fact that years ago, people walked around with less clothing on, and they were getting more of the vitamin D from the sun than we are now. Because a lot of times we got our polo on or our t-shirt or whatever, and we got blue jeans on and things like that. So, I mean, our arms and our face might be getting some, but it's not like full access like it used to be for a lot of people, unless you're like laid out on the beach somewhere. But I'm low in vitamin D, so I do take vitamin D3, and I've done some research on D2 and D3. I believe that D3, if you're going to take vitamin D, use vitamin D3. I believe it's going to be the better option. But I'm not saying that everybody has to take vitamin D. If you're not low in it, I don't see why you would need to take it. But I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt you either, unless you're just having copious amounts and taking way too much of it.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of research on it that says you'd have to take quite a bit of it to take too much of it. There was some research on women who were nursing, providing vitamin D to in their milk, for breastfeeding, and you have to take quite a bit of it before your body gets to a point where it actually, excretes it out to your baby, which is important. So, but I'm not going to go into great detail on that. Like I said, you need to go watch those videos. Dr. Barry does a much better job than I could ever do at trying to explain it. 905. Thank you. Carb addict, now carnivore. I appreciate that, sir. And then the next comment here says, let's get them to 1,000 tonight. I would love it if we did. If we don't, I still appreciate every one of you guys for subscribing to my channel. Let's see where we're at. Ada Larson, Chris, greetings from the South Pacific. Where are you at? That's cool.
I love talking to Aid. Aid's always in my comments, going back and forth.
Is he? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Trina says she wants in on that taste test, too.
I'm sure it'd be fun.
It would be a blast. All right. You see any other questions in there, Kim?
Now I think we're about caught up, because where you're at with the vitamin D and all that stuff is about where we're caught up at.
Kipp, I'm a big smoker of briskets and ribs. Have you ever have always been heavy on spices? I'm now having a hard time trying to figure out how much salt, just salt. How much do I need? How much do I figure it out per pound?
Yeah, I mean, I season with salt. Like, I've tried just doing salt, and when I just do salt, I mean, it makes good barbecue, but I still like black pepper, and I haven't felt severe negative effects from having black pepper. But the times that I've taken black pepper away, I still kept about the same amount of salt. I mean, I just kind of go when it looks right to me. I'm not measuring the salt. Now, I used to measure my ratios between salt to pepper and know how much salt to how much pepper. But if I'm just putting on salt, I'm not like, okay, I got to put 1 cup or 1 teaspoon or anything like that. It's just when it looks right, then I'm like, that's good. What about you?
I end up salting, and I'm like, okay, I think that's enough salt. And then when I get it in the house, I end up adding more salt to it.
Yeah. So you need a little bit more salt to begin with, which when you cook, I feel like you lose some of it. I feel like you lose a little bit. So it's good to go over some things with a little bit extra salt.
Yeah. I can tell you on carnivore, it's really hard for me to oversalt anything anymore. Before a little bit of salt tasted really salty, but now I'm like, I need some salt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your body needs salt.
Absolutely. You don't need to take vitamin D unless you are deficient. Eggs are a good source of vitamin D, but it depends on how you feel. You may be low, but feel fine. So monitor yourself and then get a test if needed. Good advice. Primal Mike is absolutely right. That's a great answer. I'll tell you what I did this summer. There's no shame in my game. I just started running around outside with no shirt on intentionally. After all the Homestead Hal Carey was like, yes, carnivores can't get sunburned. I was like, really? I want to try this out. And I will tell you, I didn't get sunburned except for the top of my head. It didn't burn. I didn't get that burning sensation, but it sure in the hell did peel. And it peeled for a while. I'm a bald guy, and of course you can see my head as wide as can be. You can see my tan line here, So yeah, I didn't burn, but I tell you what, I cooked the top of my head enough that it made it peel. All right. What else we got in here? This is an interesting comment. The sun synthesizes cholesterol into vitamin D. The sun does not actually give you vitamin D. We'll see. Learned something new tonight.
Yeah, that right there. It sounds like that person went to school to be a doctor or something. Because that's above me. Or they learned that from watching one of the doctor channels.
Yeah. Where's Dr. Chafee when you need him, man? That man has an answer for everything.
Oh yeah, you ain't gonna trick him.
All right, just finished dinner. Steak cooked in butter with seasoning and some fried eggs made in butter. If this is the Charlotte, I think it is. This is probably my wife's daughter. So she normally pops into mine. She's on my channel, so
yeah.
You can't run around topless, Trina. I didn't say you had to run around topless. I just said I stripped my shirt off. I mean, yeah, obviously, but I live in the woods, so I could run around and do whatever I want if I wanted to.
Yeah, I tell people.
The only thing I'm going to scare around here is the chipmunks and squirrels.
Yeah, I tell people where I live at, like, because you can't see anybody's house from my house, that if I wanted to in the summer, I could cut my grass naked if I wanted to.
I'm not. Once the trees fill in, you don't even know my house is back here.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Carnivores don't get sunburned. It happened to me. Like I said, I didn't burn. I've been burned enough times over my life. It wasn't a burn, but it sure did cause my head to peel. And there for a week, every time I went like this, it just that skin falling off. I was like, well, that's entertaining. Well, I think I'm all caught up with comments. Outstanding. All right, so Kipp, what's on your mind tonight, sir? We've been going for an hour and 22 minutes. Anything we've talked about struggles. We talked about addictions. We talked about, falling off the wagon. We both had it. What's your views for your channel? Where you think you're going with it? Do you got something planned?
I mean, I don't have anything in particular planned. My videos are planned out usually the day of, whenever I'm just sitting around and I'm like, this is what I feel like, what's on my heart. This is what I want to talk about. And then I just hit record and talk about it. Very few times have I ever wrote down, not long ago, I had a video about 7 things that I don't eat. I wrote down what the items were, but just to make sure I hit all 7 items. But normally I don't ever write anything down. I just go on there and hit record. And so whatever I'm feeling like, I did say in my video today that, to help me stay accountable, for everybody to be looking out for a walking video, whether I walk or jog or whatever, in the next couple of days. Because if y'all don't see a video from me for a week, then you know that hey, something might be up. You need to check on me to make sure I'm doing right. Because YouTube has been an accountability thing for me. Having this channel has helped me to, I'm not sure if I wouldn't have started the channel that I would have stuck with it, because nobody in my family does this. I'm the only carnivore in the house. And so I've learned a lot from everybody. Somebody's knocking on my door. But anyway, so, I mean, having a channel has helped me out a lot. So, now I forgot what I was going to say because somebody was knocking on the door. But anyway, back to you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got Frank here says, I'm currently off carnivore on ketovore, trying to figure out what to do about my CA score of 913. They want me to take a statin, but that's not happening. So you need to get that C score under control. And to be honest with you, you need to get back on carnivore. That would be my suggestion. I wouldn't do any ketovore. I'd probably go lion diet. Beef, salt, and water. That's what I would do. Because you need to get your system healed. But You know, like I said, I'm not giving medical advice or nutritional advice, but that's something that I would definitely look at. Look at Ferrigno Freedom. He has a great channel all about the lion diet, or the sea lion diet. You know, or as JT wants to call it, the tiger diet.
Yeah. I'll get back to that one at some point. Right now, I'm taking a break. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just trying to get back on the wagon.
Yeah, just to keep it simple. It makes the life much easier if you just keep it simple. I would say fasting would also be a good thing if you're ready for it and your body can handle it. You know, and only you know your health condition, so you need to make sure you know where you're at. I personally tried to, and I've fallen off this wagon and I had to get back on it. I personally try to do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, which means I have, a 16 to 20 hour window where I don't eat. So I have a 16 to 20 hour fast, and then I'll do a 48-hour fast every other weekend or every other week where I go 48 hours in between eating. And at some point I'm going to push that out to probably even a 3 to 5 day fast, but I haven't committed to that yet. But fasting, is really good. Helps correct a lot of problems in your body, and it would probably help correct, a CAC score, help bring that down.
Yeah.
But honestly, you're going to have to take some major steps to correct that, because you're knocking on.
Yeah.
They're knocking on heaven's door with a score like that. You need to get it under control.
Yeah. You're starting to break up a little bit.
Yeah, here's one. It says high K2D3 and fasting introduces autophagy, gets the ketones happening. This will dissolve the plaque in your coronary arteries. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, I had shrimp the other night and I felt fine, but I feel a lot better eating red meat. Yeah, so red meat's just, you have to understand. So it's carnivore diet is about nutrition, and so fatty red meat is a superfood. It's full of all kinds of nutrition. You got all your amino acids. You got all your vitamins. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And when you consume red meat, you're consuming a very dense, high nutritious meal, and your body is using that for energy. And so it feels really good on it. When you drop that down and you go to eat the white meat of a chicken, not the dark meat. The dark meat's actually better for you, but the white meat of a chicken, there's not as much energy in it. Or if you eat shrimp, is it good for you? Does it provide you some nutrients? Absolutely. But does it have the impact that red meat will have? No, absolutely not. Red meat is definitely king, or as they say, ruminant meat. So beef, deer, sheep, all your animals that have a multi-chamber stomach, they convert carbohydrates, and vegetables into meat, and we eat the meat, and that's the cycle of life. That's just all there is to it. It's the way it was from the beginning, and it's the way it'll be to the end.
No.
I'd say about 85% time on OMAD. I'm just popping through here. You got something, Kipp?
I was going to say that I'm about to have to hop off because we're going to have to put my daughter down for bed.
No, we're going to close.
You can keep the live chat going if you want to keep it going.
We're good. We're good. I was just popping through here the last little bit of comments, see if there was anything in there. Sir, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being on here. We kind of went all over the place. My intention on the plan was to do just an interview of you and go over your carnivore and how you got started. Obviously, today is been something where we need to talk about the struggles of carnivore, because those are absolutely real. Not everybody lives in a perfect world, in a perfect bubble. For that matter, the last perfect person died on the cross many, many years ago. So, we're all struggling, and we're all trying to do our best every single day. And that's why we're all here for each other. If you're ever struggling, bud, you can always reach out to me and we'll talk and say, no, don't go to the McDonald's, order the quarter pounders, you just have it. You got to find a way to to have a support group to help support you through those things. Like you said, you don't have that in your house. I don't have that either. I mean, me and the wife do carnivore, but I don't have anybody that's local. I have some friends at work that are doing carnivore. So it's good to have a support group, and it's good to be accountable on YouTube. So, and I appreciate all the subscribers, and, are there going to be some hate and stupidness? Absolutely. But who cares? I mean, if like Churchill said, until you have haters, you're not really done anything worth doing. So, sir, I appreciate your time. You got anything you want to throw out there?
No, just hang in there, everybody. I appreciate y'all being on here tonight, and y'all go check out his channel afterwards for those of y'all that haven't subscribed. It's been great, man. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I appreciate you. If you get a chance, check out the live stream from last Sunday with Dr. Tony Hampton. He did an amazing job. Lots of answers to some of your questions. I have it up on YouTube Live. I have it up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all those places. You can catch it all there if you want to listen to it. And catch us this Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern for Dr. Robert Kiltz. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yep.
And
all right.
All right, and if you're into carnivore, Chris, use my code Backwoods, get 10% off, and we'll catch you on the next stream.